question 12 was about the Housing Management Board. The answer given is non-responsive to the question. I asked who took the decision, which decision-making body shut down the Housing Management Board. The answer does not give that information. Please can I have an answer to the original question?
Thank you, Dan. Sorry, apologies. I've reread the answer and you're absolutely right. It isn't as accurate as we'd like it to be. So you asked who made the decision, where the decision was made. It was made on the 31st of July. And who made that decision? Councillor Parsons asked us to review the role and structure of the Housing Management Board in light of the change in the new committee system. And that's recorded in the minutes of that meeting.
Could I just add, Dan, I'm probably the only member here who was a member when the conception of the H&B back in 2009, Councillor John Keeley set up to give tenants a more meaningful voice in the city. And certainly I don't see it's been shut down, but it's certainly been paused while a decision's going to be made. Dan, question 13.
Again, the answer given is not responsive to the question. I didn't ask whether money was approved or who took the decision. I asked under what power, authority or delegation of authority the decision was taken. I've gone through the HRA budget and there is no mention of a housing and consumer standard programme, and more specifically I cannot see any delegation to officers of a power in their HRA that would cover setting up such a transformation programme. Under exactly what power was the decision made?
Thank you, Dan. I believe John Smith will reply.
Yes, good morning, Dan. Yes, I'm happy to respond on that. So in terms of the budget, and as it says here, an allocation was made towards work to address issues that have been identified as challenges within the housing stock. It's fair to say that wasn't specifically contemplating the Housing and Consumer Standards Programme, but I think officers, when setting the budget, realised there would need to be some improvement work in this area. As you know, the self-referral happened in April, which was after the budget was set, and the regulatory judgment happened in July. So certainly, whilst there was an allowance made of 0.5 million, as you'll have seen from the other record here, significantly more money has been spent on that programme than that. In terms of decision, it was an officer decision that was made, Dan, at that point. We had received a report from Savills, which was published, I think, when we set up the Housing Consumer Standards Programme at the first Housing and Homes and Housing Delivery Committee. That Savills report recommended that we did self-refer. We consulted the administration at the time, but it was a decision made by senior officers to self-refer at that point. And as a result of that, we set up the programme.